Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
And here we have the same matchup in the men's division, men's masters division. My apologies. I was talking to Evan Lepler about some of the USA team. He was telling me that they're very much the Boneyard team that won nationals last year, a couple of years ago, to be in this tournament. So there are only a few ringers in this team, and they already Canada now starting on offense.
Canada in white, USA in black, and the pitch not coping well initially with the fast cutting of these two teams. It's shredding underfoot. You can see dirt flicking up, and the disc from Canada is not a good option. Zimmerl. And we saw this Canadian Masters side playing Great Britain Masters earlier in the tournament. Making mistakes there. Disc forward to Dieter. Stone. Flicks across the field, back to Dieter, continuing the flow to Mullen, to Dieter. Back across to Stone, into the end zone, sliding fast across the pitch. Casey Degnan scores for the USA. All of these players have played at the highest level of the sport for a number of years, now competing in the Masters division in the USA at club level, and pleased to make it out here as part of the Festival of Ultimate, which is the World Ultimate and Guts Championships. We'll have a little film for you about the Guts competition at half time, and we'll also have the Women's Masters medal ceremony as well, so if you are interested in that presentation, we'll be covering that. I'm actually announcing the Women's Masters presentation in the arena, so David will talk you through the action from here in our commentary booth. Pitch side, USA and Canada. We'd like to share the coverage that we've got here with as many players and as many fans as we can from around the world. So if you are tuned in and watching, don't assume that everybody you know knows about the sport and knows about the game. Just hit that share link, pop it into your status box, tell people what you're doing, and maybe so we can put live Ultimate from London in front of some new fans. Oh, and just tripping there, the big 38 shirt of John Hassel gets his feet caught up with Stone and slides across the muddy London turf. Starting to see the pitch cut up a little bit after all that rain we've had in the last 2 hours there, David.
Yeah, during that Women's Masters final, we had two big surges of rain. Luckily, we're under a tent here, but I think I've been told by Patrick Foucault-Premier via Twitter that there's another set of rain coming within 10-15 minutes. And these players really churning it up. But there, Canada with a scuba into the goal.
So a score for Canada via Dan Ellenberger. I saw him involved heavily in the Great Britain-Canada Masters game, which we streamed earlier this week. If you want to let myself and David know your views on this game, wherever you're watching it, and who you're cheering for, that'd be great to hear from you. At Tom Styles and at David_Price, P-R-Y-C-E. At Tom Styles and at David_Price. To get us on Twitter, we'd love to hear from you. And if you take a photograph of yourselves watching the game wherever you are, appreciate the opportunity to connect together fans of Ultimate from across the world. Nice short pass to Inselman. Inselman fakes down the line. Just into the end zone. It's a point for the USA. They celebrate, hands aloft. High fives all around. Back in the lead, 2-1.
And if we just quickly look at both these teams' route to the final, the format for the men's masters division was pools, straight to crossovers, and then of course these placement games. The only team that really challenged Canada was actually Team GB, who took them to 13 and then playing them again took them to 11. Japan also doing the same, taking them to 11. But as I say, the nearest team was Team GB within 2. Team USA, which I'll just pull up. Their record was a little different, with the only team challenging them again, taking them to 12, was Team GB and Team Denmark, who played them twice also, but second time not able to keep them out in that semi-final placement game, 15-8. And now Murthy on the disc.
Back to Hassel. Hassel finds Donovan. Donovan fakes and then finds the 10 shirt of Armitage. Back upfield to Janssen. Oh, second time round, Armitage collects the disc. Pressure from the Americans, almost forcing the turnover. Flips across to Zimmerl. Zimmerl forward to Hassel. Hassel looking to pop one over the top. Donovan there. Fakes. Looks at the deep shot. Looks at the around pass. Zimmerl's available. Far side of the end zone. He's relatively unoccupied. Zimmerl back to Armitage. Hassel now. Hassel, the knifey shot across to Rayner, who tries to read it. Went up high with one hand. And 61 search Sachin Rayner not able to rein that one in as the rain from the sky falls once more here in London.
Oh yeah, by the way, it's just raining. Yeah, again. Just a little no swing on Twitter there from Bamasek saying they're just giving good luck to Canada. They'd forgotten that Inselman was on the USA team. He's going to give them a lot of problems. And let's see if they can, if USA can now hold.
Disc up the line. Static. But the disc arrived safely, pointing up the line, back across to Mullen. And the rain picks up with vigour again. Dieter with the disc. The pitter-patter of the London shower on the top of the tent as the disc goes across the top and finds Casey Degnan in acres of space. Pinpoint accurate, picking out the American at the back of the end zone. The flailing Canadians not able to take that disc down. 3-1, big important break at the start of this one for the USA.
Yeah, that throw was pinpoint, and it had to be. Although the defender was poached, if you got the height at all wrong, it would have been picked out. And I'm just watching Jolie Lang of Ulti-Photos walking the sideline. She's just throwing her hands up, unable to know what to do. She's got plastic bags, she's got a cap on. She just doesn't know where she is. She's lost.
With Jolie walking up and down the sideline here, with the rain falling once again, it's not been the weather that we saw last year in under-23s, where the conditions were perfect pretty much all week, apart from the opening ceremony where we had some pretty vicious weather. But Here, the British summer has showed its true grit. And we had a gorgeous morning out here in London for the semi-finals in the mixed and women's divisions. The men's semi-finals taking place on pitch 1. They'll be staggered, so you'll see both of those. If you want to tune in now, you can see Japan, Australia, commentary team out there, camera team, all braving the rain under the soaking London skies to make sure the coverage that we can bring you is as best as it can be. Just looking at the radar so we can get a view of what this weather is going to be doing. We think that this is going to be the last storm that passes over, and then we're in the clear for a little while. But the surface on the sideline is muddy, the surface on the mid-pitch is cutting up. Let's hope the rain doesn't come down too heavily.
Something well noticed here by Megan is the hunt for gold for Team Canada. We just saw here on the pitch that USA Women's Masters took the gold over Canada. On the pitch behind us, Canada women took a bronze medal. In the mixed, they are unfortunately out of medal contention, I believe, maybe with a bronze in there, but that's not gold. And the men's semi-final is between the USA and Canada, so the potential for a gold medal is wearing thin for Canada. Here's one opportunity, and in the men's division.
That's very nice. One of the USA Masters just coming over and saying thank you very much for volunteering. A lot of people giving up a lot of their time to make sure this tournament runs smoothly. Despite the weather that has been thrown down on these pitches, the organisers have done their level best to make sure that the tournament can be completed. Disc to Hassel in the middle of the pitch, looks to go deep, crank up that arm, but it has to come back. And now across to Zimmerl. Zimmerl's looking deep as well. Hassel cutting, Rayner cutting, finds Rayner. Zimmerl available. The disc is too low for Jansen, and that's a turnover. USA trying to take a 3-point lead at the start of this one. Holtzman, and into the corner. It's the 7 shirt of Jared Inselman. Picks that one off the floor. And USA dominating already, 4-1.
We really saw the USA there pushing back the Canadians, not giving them much opportunities to move the field, move the disc up the field, apologies. And when they did start moving forwards, they just weren't able to execute correctly. And that unforgiving defense from the Americans forces the Canadians and eventually gets them that break.
Surrounded by players who have entered a phase of their lives where families and work sometimes take a higher priority than the sport of ultimate, but they are still competitors and they still love the action of the big games, the big tournaments. Green to Hassel. Hassel shoots down the line. It's too far ahead of the fast-running Indian Murthy. And that's a turnover back to the USA again. They're going to be looking to shoot this one upwind. So far, the wind not playing too much of a factor in this game, as both teams have moved the disc fluidly around. Notwiger with the disc now for USA. Dieter up the line. Oh, and a great interception from Canada. Big wrist from Saint-Amand. Cross to Mathieu. Hassel. Pick has been called in the stack. Fast cutting Jamie Craig cutting out of the stack to get that grab. Craig into the end zone. Hassel reading it beautifully, bringing it down, and there you have it. Canada 4-1. And we've got a question coming on Twitter, David.
Yeah, this is from Bamasex. He's asking what's the status of the stadium for tomorrow. I believe he's asking about the status of the field. It's actually a turf field, which was quite a furore in the rugby world. This was one of the first stadiums to convert from grass to 3G turf. But so that should be fine in terms of wear and tear. And as Tom has mentioned in previous streams for today, nearly 6,000 attendees to be there. And so we'll have, I believe, 4 games there tomorrow, a bronze game and the 3 finals, of which myself will be commentating on the bronze game, and the mixed final will definitely be Brian Jones, Evan Lepler, others to be decided. But you will hear the wonderful dulcet tones of Tom Stars in the background as he's announcing goals for the stadium. You'll also have the likes of Megan Molteni as sideline and colour commentator.
USA in the black shirts on offense. Oh, and a high disc, only just picked out of the sky by Moore. Still moving the disc now. Over the top, red, not red. Connected with, what a great take at the back of the end zone. Throws the disc up in the air, chest bumps with his colleagues. Ben Dieter bringing the disc down for the USA. Yeah, there was concern from the WFDF that the tournament final arena might not have been built in time for this tournament, but it was actually completed 30 years ago. So, misplaced concern there from the organisers. I'd like to say hello to Scott Armitage, tuning in California. Go Canada, go. He's sent us a picture of the stream running on pretty decent telly there.
Yeah, that's definitely over 50 inches. Good quality as well, so I'm glad you're enjoying it, Scott. Do tune in for more tomorrow.
Now this is a lot of work and time and effort has gone into making this stream possible. Would like to say thanks to all the people who supported the Kickstarter campaign to get the WFDF video project off the ground. And this second field that we're able to bring you is very much a result of the generosity of the Ultimate community. Zimmerl now for Canada to Rayner. Rayner going to ground is Donovan, moving it fast through Armitage. Flicks high in the air, Hassel reacts quickly, hands up, disc down. Hassel over the top, Rayner, chest height. Perfect technique from Rayner if you're looking at developing your game. Just watch how Rayner jumps at that disc. The breeze is pushing the disc up and down, it makes it unpredictable. Could have stayed on the ground and it would have been difficult, but he jumped, caught it 2 hands, waist high. Zimmerl now. Oh, looking at that inside pass, but still cutting out so hard. Hassel, his long legs carrying him forward ahead of the defender, Donovan. Hassel available again, just darts out of the end zone. Makes himself available for the dump, and he throws the hammer into the back of the end zone, and there, lurking silently, is Stephen Armitage, who collects that disc And they're just trading it out. Last couple of points here. Canada still in it. 2 points adrift at the moment.
But they need to do just a little bit more. They need to be able to get the breaks. They're still down a couple now, and the USA will be happy to just keep trading at this point. They're happy to take the pressure that Canada are giving them and coast into the first half. So Canada really need to step up their game on both ends of the field to be able to get back on even terms against this very strong Team USA.
USA back on the disc. Centers it. Hammer exposing the gap behind the wall there. Canada transitioning to a one-on-one. Dieter dumps the disc back to 22 shirt of Gain. Gain is going to have the disc back now. Raises his hand. Signal the disc is coming back in. Inselman. Inselman back to Gain. Gain's got options forward, and that high release pass from Gain is a classic disc. Dieter, he's just looking to find that break side space, but they've got to be careful with it here. Canada are putting them under some pressure. Inselman looking off 2 or 3 options, eventually finds the disc shot down in a little bit of a blast. Trey Katzenbach getting a knock. We saw Katzenbach on the beach in Lignano. Part of the USA Masters side out there. Inselman. Inselman around. Into space and a huge layout. Flips the disc over his head in celebration. Mike Moore for the USA, sliding across the turf and scoring for the USA.
Canada still down 3 breaks in the first half of this Men's Masters final here at the World Ultimate Guts Championships in London. As I'm sure you're aware, the weather has been changeable. It's probably the best word for it. Particularly today, we've had a mixture of beautiful sun, a bit of wind, and then some rain. Right now, it's not raining. Sure Nick Moss will enjoy that. I know he's watching now on the live stream. If you are watching, please do get in contact with us. David_Price, it's P-R-Y-C-E, and Tom Styles are our 2 handles. But for now, we're looking at Canada trying to hold, getting into the middle. A nice bit of isolation there for a deep shot, not quite on.
Donovan with the disc to Rayner. Rayner's got Zimmerl as the reset, or the forward pass. Armitage now. Again, the pressure from the USA. Knock out of the hand, coming in on 0, uncontested completely by the USA. Taps back in. Armitage looks to that float down the line to Hassel, who just gallops across there. The long legs and the huge disc over the top to Rayner, who's on the far side of the pitch. That's a special bit of play there from John Hassel. Just stepping free, striding to the line, picks the disc off, and the hammer to the open side. Rayner receives. It's 6-3 here, sorry, 6-4 here. This game's going quite a pace. Megan's been down here taking the stats for us. What's your view of the game so far, Megan?
Well, Canada's got 4 on the board, and that's Hassel throwing 3 of those and catching the 4th. So pretty clear where those scoring opportunities are being generated for this Canadian O-line. And I think that this USA team needs to rotate through their matchups, get some fresh legs on him each point, force the disc into the hands of some other people when they get close to the goal line. Those hammers, those over-the-top throws, he's been really lethal kind of anywhere around that end zone. And so they really need to limit the amount that he's touching the disc when they get within 10 to 15 yards.
USA. Snoke, hammer to space, goes to the knees, gets a big old block there. Inselman just rides it out. Forward. Looking for a sidearm, finds space, but pressure arrives. Moore still has it for the USA. Pass back, Snoke again. Moore continues his crossfield cut. And the pick is called on the play. See our game advisors on the sideline. Brewster signalling, still coming in. Shot to the end zone for the USA, brings it down safely. That's Castaldo, I think it was number 9 that scored that for USA. We are a little bit obstructed on the sidelines when the points are scored in this near side corner. Struggling a little bit to see what's going on. Great to be able to bring you this Masters final from field 2. The bonus coverage field as part of the WFDF video project that we've been able to cover thanks to the generosity of the Ultimate community funding this project through Kickstarter. And we had that stretch goal at the last minute. It's allowed us to put extra cameras, extra people, extra coverage for all the Ultimate fans at home. We've seen some fabulous games on pitch too. It's a good job we had the capacity. So break from the rain, which is nice. The sun is going to come out. It's windy, warm and bright. And we hope that this pitch dries a little. It's been a rotten couple of days weather-wise here in London. Wednesday night, after a gorgeous day of weather on Wednesday during the day.
Tom's just off to handle a bit of administration because, of course, he is also the on-field announcer, so he'll be back in a couple of seconds. Don't worry, I'm here, as is Megan. If you want to get in contact with us, as always, Twitter is the way forward, @David_Price, and the sun is out here in London, finally, once again. Here, Team USA looking to take half on defense. Getting themselves pumped on the sideline. I can hear a lot of noise coming from behind me, which is the Japanese-Australia men's semi-final, which if you want to watch that, that's on the other stream link. But you don't really want to watch that. You want to watch the men's Masters final here between Canada and USA. So Canada on offense. Disc. Now with Janssen. Janssen across the field to Hassel. He's really making things hard for the USA D-line. Murthy down the line to Donovan. And there's a call on the field. I think it's a foul. Donovan taps it in, gets it to Zimmerl. Zimmerl across the field to this near sideline with Hassel. Hassel, high scuba, and the goal to number 8, David Janssen. And as Megan mentioned earlier, Hassel involved on almost every opportunity, really giving the Americans a lot of hassle.
I can't stand behind that. David, you're better than that. It's okay. We've got Tom back from his other official duties, which will include in a little bit as we approach halftime will be the medal ceremony for the women's Masters division. And the story of this game so far has been 3 early breaks for the Americans, and then we've had 7 holds since then. Americans receiving now for an opportunity to go and take half, 8-5.
The wind swirls around this pitch here, blowing slightly towards the cameras now from across the stand as blue skies appear once more on the horizon. Hopefully some sunshine will be present here on this pitch 2 show field. Masters final in the men's division, men's Masters. Snoke with the disc over the top. Moore and Inselman. Inselman taking a bit of a challenge. He floats down the line. Fast cut from Woolridge. Woolridge back to Inselman. Inselman down the line. And what a classy disc that is from Inselman. Straight cut back to the line. And a shot down that line. And finds a wide open in the end zone. That's half for the USA. During this half, we're going to see a short video about Guts. And then David Price. Short video about Guts, and we may also see the Women's Masters medal presentation taking place.
I'm Michael Banghart. I was born and raised in Lansing, Michigan. I started playing Guts. My first tournament was when I was 9 years old. My father played in the 70s, and it was this huge event. Frisbee tournaments were massive, and we've since fallen off a bit, but we're on the rise. And so that's how I got into it, all things sports. He was a terrific ultimate player as well. So I'd say my first love was ultimate, because there is a competitive spirit in me that needs to be shown, and I've become quite skilled with the Frisbee, and that competitive nature doesn't show up in disc golf. In ultimate, it's shared by 7 people, but the intensity doesn't reach the level that I've found in Guts. It's unlike any other disc sport in that you will be best friends before the first shot's thrown, to worst enemies during the game, to best friends after the last point. And Guts players have this uncanny ability to leave it on the field, to not let it bleed into other aspects. And it's maybe the hard-headedness, but we're able to turn it on and off, which is nice. You either go after the weak shot or the weak D. Now, if there's a team that is full of firepower, you know, no matter who you hit, you're getting a hot shot back, you go after the weak defense. Now, if you're playing a team that has terrific defense and a few good shots, you go after maybe the best defender on the team, but he has the worst shot. And that's what's fascinating about Guts, is that you can't be a master of only one technique, of one aspect of the game. You have to be like a dual threat, otherwise you become the target. The thing about Ultimate, and that I think is lost on the viewer to Guts, is awareness of where everyone is. Now, having instinct on what the person you're throwing to is going to do next, when they're going to make that cut, how deep that break is going to be, actually applies to Guts Frisbee. Because on the line, you need to know where your team will be moving. So on initial contact, I need to trust that my end man will be flying on a counterclockwise spin. And so I can put that disc up and have faith that someone will be back there. And knowing where they are relative to what shot's coming in is very similar to Ultimate, and knowing what your teammate will be doing. To represent the United States of America is, well, for a third time, is something I never thought was possible. The only thing I would change is if my father could be here and share with me this experience. So to represent the country is amazing, but there's a little something extra because he can't be here. I want more than anything to win it for him. That quote, when a ball dreams, it dreams it's a Frisbee. When I dream of Frisbee. So Guts Frisbee to me is a dream that's been realized. It's a sport that if I could have created, I wouldn't change a thing. Like, if it was up to me, I'd keep it the same. It's a sport that has been just inspirational to me. It's been something I can turn to. It's a community that I can rely on. And it's also allowed me to travel. I mean, Guts Frisbee to me is a dream come true.
gentlemen, the victory ceremony for the World Flying Disc Federation 2016 World Ultimate Open Guts Championships Master Women's Division. The medals will be presented by Robert Rouse, the WFDF President, WFDF Secretary Thomas Griesbaum, WFDF Ultimate Committee Chair Brian Gissel, and the CEO of the International Masters Games Association, Jens Holm. Ladies and gentlemen, in third place, Australia! And the trophy will be presented to the team captain by Thomas Griesbaum. We have here one more time for Australia. In second place in the Master Women's Division, Canada. And the trophy will be presented to the captain by Robert Rao. Ladies and gentlemen, Canada! And in first place in the Master Women's Division, USA! And the trophy will be presented by Jens Holm to the team captains of the USA. In celebration of the spirit of the game, the Master Women's Division Award goes to New Zealand. New Zealand, I'm afraid, are currently playing their final placing game, so they can't be here, but we will give them that prize later. Ladies and gentlemen, one last time, the WFDF 2016 World Ultimate and Burst Championship gold medalist in the Masters Women's Division, WFA. That concludes the medal section. And as soon as this photograph has been taken, please go clear the pitch so that this final can continue. Shall we clear the pitch so that the game can continue? Please can all players and officials clear the pitch so that the Masters Men's Division final can continue. Thank you very much.
So we're back for this WFDF World Ultimate and Guts Championship Master Men's Final. USA in the black, Canada in the white. Two teams have had a close first half. USA with the upper hand. They lead this one 8-5. Came a strong start with a few breaks. Set themselves into a 4-1 position, but it's been much closer for the rest of that first half, and the Canadians no doubt will be coming out here determined to break back. USA starting on offense, and the disc is going fast and just beyond the reach of the outstretched Bendita. He slides across the turf but cannot connect with that one, and straight away Dan Yankee Yonki exchanging discs with the handlers, looking for an advancing pass, looking across some of the options. High release, Saint-Amand with a nice inside release, and it's just not read well enough by the receiver. Andy Collins could have struck deep a little bit perhaps and picked that off as it came down, but he went for the early jump, trying to grab it high. And the disc goes over his head and lands in the end zone uncaught. Saw the disc flying high through the sky there. Pressure under this. And players colliding in the air. Both players seeming to misread it. 21 shirt of Joe Sawada jumped. He was contact with Mike Moore. Moore calling a foul on that. The score on the the men's semi-final taking place on pitch 1 show pitch under the sunshine. It was 6-4 to Australia. It's now 10-7 to Japan. Big turnaround there. Japanese getting themselves back in it. Real tussle between those two sides. But right here on the Master Men's Division, might be 11-7 now. Japan scoring quickly there. They have the advantage in that semi-final. But we're bringing you 2 pitches on live stream. If you're watching this one with us, I hope you're enjoying the spectacle of these 2 Masters sides slugging it out under very wet conditions underfoot. The sun is shining, but the rain overnight in places where the pitch has had a heavy footprint go down. It is a bit sticky, a bit sloppy. The players struggling at a huge bid, but it is creating some very athletic plays from both teams. And this is going to be a pitch that doesn't hurt if you land on it hard. 22 shirt of Brian Gain on the far side, with the disc in hand. Andy Collins marking him for Canada. Disc flies high to Dieter. Dieter, there's a good defense there from Yonki. Inselman throws that fake, throws it twice, throws it again, and this time up the line, not quite into the end zone yet. Mike Moore. Gripping the disc like a ninja star, throws it across to Inselman. Shot from Inselman is completed, blocked. It's goal, it's completed. It was caught by Kevin Kusi for the USA. Kevin Kusi there with that grab. And exactly the start in this second half that USA were looking for. They're up 9-5. Wherever you're watching, I hope you're enjoying the coverage that we're able to bring you. Adeline Tan says their Islanders are supporting number 15, Jamie Craig from Canada, all the way from Penang, Malaysia. Let's go Canada. And David, you've got some shout-outs as well.
Yeah, from Erica Williamson. She's enjoying the men's final in the USA, so she's supporting Josh Mullen in particular. She's also suggesting that it should stop raining, which it has now. I think we're going to miss it for the rest of this game, so Canada and USA lucking out with the rain here in the men's Masters final.
Armitage, free disc, and now back to Hassel. Benson Jar Jar marking, finds Rayner. Shot through the middle to Hassel. Hassel, Benson Jar Jar catching that disc, coming back in on 0, signals above his head. Deep shot now, being chased down by Donovan, going to be a bit underneath it. Donovan reads that perfectly, grabs high. Armitage floats across the end zone, and it's a score with Rayner lurking on the near side, splitting the defense. Canada with deep shots, both sides available, and they connect. That's an upwind score for Canada. We've not seen too many of them. They still trail the USA by 3, 9-6. Myself, Tom Stiles, and David Price here with you on Fabulous Friday, after we had a really tough day under the rainy skies of London yesterday. Heavy rain overnight on Wednesday evening into Thursday morning, and another huge thunderstorm that came across this site. Local flooding everywhere, roads closed, trains delayed. It was a big issue for everybody. We just about managed to keep some of the pitches open, and Megan's got a view of the game so far as well.
Sort of. Part of what happened with that rain delay was that the semifinals games in the Masters division were completely canceled. So the original schedule was these teams playing their semis yesterday, getting a break, and then playing this final today. And they wound up having to play both games today while we had the nice weather. Kind of a little bit unorthodox in the Masters division to play semis and a finals in the same day, so curious how that will affect people's legs. Late in this game, a shot right away.
Deep shot, trying to break, get this upwind score straight back. USA floating it into the path, and it just grabs, goes to one knee down, one knee up, hand above the head. Very unorthodox catching style. We get a number on the receiver over on the far side. 6, Bendita, who's having a fantastic game out here under the sunshine. The USA in the driving seat for this one. They lead Canada 10-6. Has been a bit of an unusual day here in London. Players around the tournament from all countries just scratching their head the overnight political turmoil. And a lot of the travelling players, we've got a pretty good exchange rate on the pound coming out here. They've got an absolutely terrible exchange rate going back after the financial effects, repercussions of the Brexit vote. Trying to mix up sport and politics. It's not a great mix, is it, David?
No, but then they try and mix everything together anyway with the truth.
It's all got a bit serious in here. Myself, Tom Stiles, and David Price watching this one for you. The Master Men's Division final, USA versus Canada, and an offside call from Canada there, sending the USA back from whence they came. If you're going to throw a legal pull, you're very welcome to come and play. We're going to throw an illegal pull. You can go and have another crack at it. Exciting disc over the top, deep into the end zone. It's a great pull from the USA. Immediate pressure arriving. Straza putting that first force on, but they're moving the disc now. Armitage finding Jansen. Jansen rides a bit of a barge, rides a bit of a shoulder. Jansen swings to the far side. Rayner, that disc from Jansen had to be perfect, and it was. Floated enough, carried enough, arrived with Rayner. Donovan now finds Hassel. Hassel to Armitage again. Armitage looking for that little shortcut. All the players struggling for their footing and a little bit on this pitch. Zimmerl to Hassel. Great disc from Zimmerl to Hassel. And receives it. Jansen, I thought the disc was to the 10 shirt of Armitage, but sliding in was Jansen. Make sure of that one. And Canada still within 3.
One thing to note, as is quite typical within the Masters game, USA forcing middle, trying to make the opposition throw into the mess of the center of the field where the stack will be and where there'll be many more players. That time Hassel taking on the force with that hammer, getting onto the break side for the goal.
So we've had a clean game here in the second half, no breaks for either side. Only 3 turnovers. Curious to see if the final score of this game will come down to just the early breaks by Team USA. Canada hasn't yet found an answer to this American O-line, and they're really going to have to find an extra gear or find a defensive adjustment to get a stop and get a break here.
Big disc rising high, and foul call there against Saint-Amand. Saint-Amand wanting to have a conversation with his opposition player. Kusi coming back on 0. Kusi, angled disc floating high. Great pressure, great read, and a second time round grab for David Snoke, who brings that into his hands. Connects for another point for the USA. 11-7 to score, within 4 of taking this World Championship title in the Master Men's division.
And just like his Sith counterpart, Snoke, taking a lethal weapon and getting that goal. 2 very risky shots, I'd say, though. The hammer all contested, and the shot there to Snoke. But USA coming down with it, and now 4 points up on the Canadians. Canadians really having to dig deep to try and get a few breaks to get themselves back into this game.
Score on the other pitch. It's 13-9 to Japan, really preventing the Australians from getting the points they need in this second half. Australia were 6-4 up. Donovan keeping that disc alive for Canada. Armitage. Big disc is going to be Indian Murthy chasing that down, but he hadn't read the play well enough, hadn't realised the disc might go up. When it did, didn't react.
I'd actually attribute that more to the thrower. Murthy was already coming under, and whilst there was a deep strike going, it wasn't the shot he was looking for.
Lang, big disc downfield, and it's reeled in and scored. Michael Gastaldo scoring for the USA. And they move within 3. That's the first break of this second half as well. As the shadows lengthen here in London, flags flutter. The different associated organisations, the UN, the Olympic Committee, the WFDF, the International Association of Amateur Sports, is it? I can't read it from here. The 4th flag, David, I can't even see what it is. The World Games Association, Sport Accord, or the World Paralympics Association. There's the International Association of IOC recognised sport federations. Yeah, that's everything, isn't it? The tournament flag and the Great Britain flag. Jansen, Armitage. For Canada on the offence again. Can they do anything to prevent? They're just running through there. Mullen almost got the block for USA, but he's back with Jansen now, darting forward. Armitage collects. Man on the floor, takes the advantage. Jansen continued that cut nicely. And again, we see the 23 shirt of Matthew cutting out and a pit called. Hartwigger putting a lot of pressure on every one of the cuts that Christian Matthew is making. Floats into space. Armitage reads, dishes back to Jansen. Darting forward, Matthew again involved. Jansen continues his cut. Fletcher now. Fletcher fakes. Under a lot of pressure now. Stolkamp gets high, looking for some sort of way out. Hassel makes himself available right at the right moment. Nice disc from Hassel. Blady down the sideline, darting around. Quite got the spring in his step that we were used to seeing when he was playing for the Canadian national side. Flips it over and finds Eric Saint-Amand in space. John Hassel playing for in that classic Vancouver game between USA and Canada when it was sockeye and furious. Hassel was one of the international pickups. And Megan Multani is here alongside myself and David Price for a little bit of analysis.
Just chatting here on my phone with some of the American men's Masters players back in the US who know this Boneyard team well. They kind of have 2 suggestions for Team Canada here. You know, one, thinking about face guarding Hassel, not allowing him to come under and get the disc. We saw him score again for Canada there. You know, could think about forcing to send him deep on an initial look and take him out of the play. And then the other question is, will Canada at some point play some junk? Will they run something different? Will they force the Americans out of their comfort zone, force them to try a different tempo? Like we said, it's late in this game. It's 3 points here for the US team. And as an old adage in Frisbee goes, you never lose a game without trying some zone. So be curious to see if the Canadians give it a shot.
USA with the disc once more. Woolridge down the pitch. Woolridge again. Moore. Down the line, caught high and well read. All the way into the hands. Moore, the provider. USA within 2. They lead this one 13-8. Say USA Master men's team, so a class above the field here in this division. Had a couple of close games on their way to the final. Great Britain managed to take 12 points from them. There is still the very real chance of a clean sweep across the divisions for the USA. Zimmerl, oh, grab high from Hassel, really showing a class. Donovan, Jansen. Jansen to Armitage, pushed back by the hard USA defense now. Zimmerl for that deep shot. Jansen's cutting, so's Hassel. The big rangy legs of Hassel looking for that easy shot across the end zone to Jansen, who's free in space. Nice work from the Canadians, picking out Hassel with that deep shot. The 38 shirt, such a useful target when you've got the disc in hand. Canada stemming the flow just a little bit.
Did well there to take the pressure that the USA were giving them. They were being pushed back just more and more towards that point, but that deep shot opened up to them, unlocking the defense. Hassel doing well to get free, and a lovely throw across the field into the end zone. But this forced middle from Team USA is really doing them wonders. It's got them this far, and so far they haven't needed to change it either. It's put them in good stead to take the gold.
Disc. USA with the disc. Finds Woolridge. Great game from Woolridge so far. Dieter, he's had a stunning game as well. Big disc flying high to Woolridge. There's going to be pressure underneath it. Woolridge takes a heavy clattering from the 9 shirt of Yonke, but he's happy with that. Both players bidding for the same disc. Not able to ride that challenge and take the disc down anyway. It's a drop disc from Matteo into the end zone. The USA reacting quickly with Moore taking it down. A miscommunication between the handler and the receiver there. Matteo not able to grab onto it. And the USA move within one of taking the gold medal. Both the Masters divisions look like they're safely in the hands of the black shirts of the USA. The shirts have been referred to as the stealth bomber shirts. Not very much colour on the shirts, but no doubt there'll be a prize worth trading if any of the USA teams want to trade their shirts at trade night. As soon as these players have finished playing their game, the trading area is over by the WUGC tent. WUGC proud to be the official merchandise partner of the WFDF. I'd like to say thanks to all of the Kickstarter supporters who supported the WFDF video project to get myself and David and Megan and Evan Lepler and Brian Jones and an international team of technicians, directors, editors over to London, hoping to bring all these streamed games as well as some fabulous documentary making about the sport here to London. See the result of that tomorrow, but now it's Canada with the disc. Inian Murthy. The disc is going to come back to Hassel. The travel was called. Hassel had that foul called on him.
Go, Holston, let's go, baby.
A bit of a long conversation for a travel call, but it's come back to Hassel. Game advisors step off the pitch. Hassel to Murthy. Murthy to Zimmerl. Disc to Hassel. He just takes it one-handed like it wasn't moving at all. But that was a really zippy disc from Zimmerl. He cuts away, cuts back, still running so quickly. Oh, and Armitage has made a cut to the break side, and Zimmerl's got a disc for that as well. Showing real class there, Team Canada.
Canada now finding a bit of stride, able to quickly get their offense moving and get the disc moving, but USA have a 4-point lead and are now on offense with a chance to be taking the championship.
So this is it. This Massa men's division comes down to this last point. Can Canada prevent the USA offense from taking the point and taking the championship? Some of the family members of the US and Canadian Masters team. A lot of kids around the Masters team. Families. This tournament has been a fun place to be this week for some of the future stars of the sport. And a great ball from Canada, putting pressure on Team USA straight away. Inselman starting with a low disc, trying to get the disc out of there, and has to take it high. Woolridge. Dieter. Dieter down the line. It's going to be brought down. It's going to be D'd by Team Canada. Finally, they got a turnover. Finally, they've got a block. And a deep shot down there. The intended target was David Snoke. Didn't connect. Two Canadian defenders reading that one better and pulling it down first. Colin Green. Saint-Amand. Rangy shot across to Davis. Davis to Collins. And a disc is going to go back. There was a pick called, but I don't think it affected the shot to Collins. A disc from Davis. Goes back to him. Inselman marking. Tap in from Inselman. Davis to Collins. Collins looking deep, floats, it's going to catch the wind, it's going to hang in the sky. But four players go up. And a contact and a foul on the throw. Fouls called all over the place. Not enjoying the physical way in which that disc was bid for. Dan Ellenberger in the end zone, having a quite stern conversation with his American counterpart, but whether that was a foul or not is completely academic. The disc is going to come back to Andy Collins regardless. This was a foul on the throw from Hoyle, and this time Collins is looking this up the line shot, nice inside disc to Green. Ellenberger. And that's a poor disc from Ellenberger. To the ground, Saint-Amand, nothing he could do about it. Snoke. To Hoyle. Stall count rising. Deep shot from Hoyle to Dieter. Dieter just dishes the pass away to Woolridge. Now he's got the disc back again. Beautifully weighted disc across to Kassenbach. Inselman to Ben Dieter, who scores the goal, takes the victory for the USA. They've won this Master Men division in some style. 15-10 the final score over Team Canada. The Canadians have been the second best team all the way through this competition. They've been the second best team by some margin, both down from the USA, but also above their peers in the rest of this competition. A class above the remaining competition. But the USA Master Men's title, David Price with analysis of that one.
USA's D and the Canada's D was force middle, and it worked a lot better for Team USA. Canada just needed to mix something up and change to do something different, albeit one-way force or zone or some sort of poachy set, and that way they could have applied more pressure and potentially got some turns. Couple that with a few unforced errors, or maybe potentially forced errors, I guess. They just couldn't touch the Americans on their offense.
So the majority of these breaks for this US team coming early in the game. Most of the second half was very clean from both sides. So kind of too little too late for the Canadians, not able to have an answer for the American offense late in the second half. And kind of those early turns costing them. Another gold medal here for the Americans in this Masters division.
Well, that wraps up our coverage for this Master Men's Division final. USA take gold, Canada take silver. And there'll be more coverage on the WFDF stream. We'll be having the show game pitch showing the other semi-final in just a minute. We'll be making our way over there to watch that one with Evan Lepler and Brian Jones. I'm pleased to say that Today's coverage of the World Flying Disc Federation free stream of the 2016 World Ultimate Championships from London has been brought to you by WUGC Ultimate, proud to be the official merchandise partner of the World Flying Disc Federation, and by Eric, teaching youth about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics, by the members of the USA Ultimate and the World Flying Disc Federation. Thanks for joining us on this coverage. Myself, Tom Stiles, David Price and Megan Molteni signing out. We'll speak to you again soon.
it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.